All right, good morning, everyone. It is 8:40 in the morning of November the 16th, 2021, and this is my trading strategy session. So today, first thing I have on watch is AXON, AXON Enterprise Incorporated, Electronic Technology, Aerospace and Defense. Very interesting. Earnings per share is up, revenue's up, and guidance is up. It just reported earnings this morning. So you can see here, pre-market, it's up 23.41%. I expect there to be some profit taking on this one this morning. So it is a pretty volatile stock. Here it is close to an all-time high here. I'm going to mark off that all-time high. 211.65. So whenever you get outsized gains, on a stock that's volatile, you might have some people who are buying right here just shy of 200. This stock, with its volatility and how much it trades, the volume that it trades in, I expect there to be some profit taking this morning. So on this one, if this were like, say, an earnings report on something like, let's say, Crocs, or let's say this was an earnings report on a company like Ford Motor Company, something like that, I wouldn't expect it to sell off very much. But I think this one has, I think once it opens, it's going to see a significant dip. And so I'll just be watching, same old strategy as usual. I will be watching the various Fibonacci levels for a dip below, of course, dip below the open that doesn't go to the 75 and then pushes back past the open again. It's a buy. Same thing with the 75 level right here. A dip down and then a push back up above it. The buy would be right. Where's the arrow? No, let's see. Arrow. There we go. The buy would be right there as it crosses back up above the 75. And then same thing with the open. Pushes down past the open, then comes back up. The buy will be right there for the trade, for just a trade. And then the averaging in here between the 61.8 and the 50. Now, I think that's probably going to be most likely with this stock today. So I'm going to put some orders in pre-market in case we get a real sharp sell-off at the open for some profit taking. And then, so that's what I anticipate. But then I'll keep watching it. This is the one I'm going to have up on watch the most. I'll be watching this one the most closely at the open. And so, but I'll also, in addition to having orders ready to go at the 61.8 to 50% level, I'll also keep an eye on this thing for it to do a dip down below the 75 level or a dip down past the open. Now, of course, this is going to change as the morning goes on. The pre-market action will cause the price to change. So all these levels will change. So as time goes by, I will be adjusting these this level into the open. So yeah, that's the strategy on AXON. Okay, next up, QGEN. QGEN, there's no new news here. And this is interesting. I can't find any news. Let me check on Street Smart Edge again real quick. Yeah, I've seen this happen from time to time. So they had a good earnings report, upside surprise of 8% on earnings, upside surprise of 7.54% on revenues. And their guidance, I believe they guided higher. Let's see. What date was that? That was the 3rd of November. Yeah. So here we go. Q3 adjusted earnings remain stable as revenues rise. Full year guidance lifted. Shares gain after hours. but it really didn't. It sagged. Here, let me kind of clean this up so it's a little bit easier to see on the daily here. So you can see they had a good earnings. They reported earnings that were good right here. Pardon me, I have to cough. I still have a little bit of a chest cold. Pardon me. I'm still clearing up from this recent illness, whatever it was. And so you can see here that after reported earnings, it really put in this bear flag. I would expect that. I mean, this is the first time I've looked at the stock. I don't know. I think forever I've never looked at the stock before. I'm pretty sure. But that's definitely a bear flag. It's definitely a bearish formation. But somebody decided to come in and buy this thing up. I mean, it had a good earnings report. So it looks to me like, people, if anybody bought on this day thinking, all right, things are looking up, there's some people who just came in, took profits and beat the stock down. And then here we are this morning, all of a sudden they're like, hey, why is this stock so low? Let's buy it. So this morning, this isn't the number one stock that I'll be watching this morning, although there could be some pretty decent action on this thing. I will have my eye on it. You can see here pre-market, it's really starting to ramp up there. So sometimes there's a delayed response. Sometimes when there's a good earnings report on a company, for whatever reason, it hasn't caught the attention of traders or investors, and they're like, well, let's wait until it settles down after the earnings report and then start buying. And it looks like that's what's happened. So this morning, let's see, it has traded only 275,000 shares pre-market on a, let's see what the outstanding is. Outstanding are 227 million shares. Let's see if I have the float. See if the float shows up in here. I don't have the float on trade ideas. I have the float for the small caps, but I don't have a float for the large or mid caps. QGEN right now is the leading gapper this morning. It's interesting that it's on the top of the my gap scanner when AXON is definitely the biggest gapper this morning. It's funny, AXON is showing up on my small cap scanner, my small cap scanner. It's weird. It's not a small cap. All right. Well, anyway, so yep, same strategy as AXON. I'm going to be using on QGEN. Same thing with ALV here, and ALV is doing quite well. This is a Swedish automaker, I believe. Auto parts. Yeah. So this is they just recently reported guidance up. They've had they had a good earnings. Let's see, where is it? No, maybe they didn't have a good earnings report. Let's see. Downside surprise of 6% on earnings and downside of 0.73% on revenues. Oh, but it continued to climb anyway, so there are people who are interested in this thing. All right, well, so this morning, I'm just going to do the same thing here. This isn't the one that I'll be watching most closely, but I'll have alarms on it so that if it starts making moves, I can pay attention to it. I'll have it on one of my screens. Same strategy. Opens, goes below the open, but doesn't hit the 75, then comes back up above the open. That's an entry. Dip down below the 75 and back up above the 75. That's an entry, and then between 61.8 and 50 is an entry. And now KZR, this is the small cap gapper. This morning it was the lead gapper, but now it's fallen back a bit. You can see here pre-market. Post-market, it was up as high as $15. Pre-market here was up as high as $13.23. It has a phase 2 study for lupus that is recently, KZR Life Sciences sees clinically meaningful benefit in phase 2 portion of lupus nephritis trial. Shares soar in pre-market. It's phase 2. It's a milestone, no doubt about it. Passing phase 2 is not easy, and then phase 3 is next. After it passes, it hasn't passed phase 2 actually. It's only reporting positive data from a phase 2 trial. So phase 3 is next, and So I don't know if there are people out there that are going to start bidding this thing up and it turns into a momentum trade. Then I've got it on the screen. Not very excited about it. FXC, this is just a foreign exchange play. I've jumped into a few shares down here. The consultancy firm that I use actually recommended a buy right here on the 9th of November. And I just kind of blew it off. I wasn't paying very close attention to it, but then it dipped down quite a bit further than their entry. And so I was like, okay, I'll buy it now. And so I bought a little bit. I only have a few hundred shares. And then B&O. So just kind of keeping an eye on energy here. B&O above 21, a close and a hold above 21.98 is important. 21.98 is a high from over here on, let's see, the 6th of January 2020. So that's almost 2 years ago. And so it's hit this level, hit that 21.98 level, and it looked to me like it was really getting ready to take off, like right here. Pardon me, I need to cough again. Pardon me. So it looked like it was really getting ready to take off right here. You can see it hit 21.98, came up, broke it, dropped below, then made a rather substantive move above it, retested and continued. And I'd expect it to continue doing something like this, but instead it has, fallen back below here, tested. And now actually it's come back up, fallen below, tested. So it's not the really nice, clean setup that I'd like, but it's still bullish. I mean, it is still, it is technically putting in a bull flag here. We've got this run up here and then the consolidation here. So once it resolves itself, I believe it'll be to the upside. It's just kind of a matter of when that happens, timing. It's the biggest challenge is timing, right? So just keeping an eye on it. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on what's going on here. This December 21st, this line ought to be right over here at 21 January. There we go. So yeah, I'm expecting this thing to resolve itself. Everybody's bullish oil. We'll see what the consensus says. We'll see how accurate the consensus is. All right, everybody. Okay, so let's look at the broader market here real quick. If the SPY opened up right now, it would open up practically flat, 0.02% higher than the previous close. And the VIX, let's see, it looks to me like the VIX is working on failing back below. Yeah, it looks like it's working on failing back below this resistance line right here. We've got two tests so far. So 1, 2. If the next one doesn't break below, fail, and continue lower, then that'll be strike 3, and I believe we'll have another uplift. We'll have another upswing in volatility if it doesn't, if it can't break it on this go around. Here, I'll show you the recent past. Here's another example. We had this region over here, couldn't break it and stay below. Went up a little bit. Again here, couldn't break it and stay below, went up a little bit, and then 3 strikes, and you're out. This is the 3rd strike. So now here we are, next batter, and we've got 1, 2, and possible 3 coming up. I think it's likely that it'll continue to try and drop down. If it drops down and then closes back up above again, then I'd expect to see quite a bit more volatility. Bitcoin, so apparently there's some tax stuff in Bitcoin. There's some stuff about taxing Bitcoin or something. I don't know. So it's sold off. Pretty, 10% sell-off, So nothing to sneeze at. I think it's probably just another buying opportunity, though. Yesterday, it's really nice. Yesterday, I'm in Sino and Vestview. Sino Global Shipping America has dedicated quite a bit of resource to mining crypto. And there's something about a shipping company that is also crypto savvy that just seems to make, I don't know, for some reason, it just seems to make a good combination in my mind. Like if there's a shipping company that can transact in crypto and circumvent like the dollar, you know, being the reserve currency and stuff, it just sort of seems like it just makes sense to me. I don't know. And then also INVU up 31.07%. I've been looking for opportunities to average in. In fact, I think I started averaging in on this date back here when it started hitting 12 cents. And I actually averaged in really heavily on this day. Let's see, INVU on this day on the 5th of November. Somebody just started selling their INVU shares like mad. And I was buying, I think I bought 20,000 shares inside of this candle right here. And I got a price, I got filled as low as, let's see, as low as $5, or I'm sorry, 0.0533 and 0.0526, 0.0527, 0.0531, and 0.0533. I picked up, let's see, I picked up 4,000 shares in that price range. And actually picked up more too at 0.065, 0.065, 0.069, 0.071, 0.073, so on and so on and so on. So it was nice to see this thing pop up 31% yesterday. My portfolio likes that. And this was the day right in here. You see, it's kind of hard to see with the volume. Let me get the volume out of the way real quick. You can see that big spike down right there. I was buying during this whole spike right here. And so, yeah, it started popping up. Kind of nice, you know. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at the recap. I am out.